Hello everybody. We have a game with the black pieces against Disciple of Jesus rated 1435. And this disciple likes to play the Hillbilly Attack. We've gotten this a lot. I don't know why. But they let us hit their bishop for free, which we're happy to do. He now develops his piece with no threats. We can develop a second knight. He now moves the same piece twice, putting extra pressure on our position. I'm just going to do the most simple move, bishop d7. Pressure neutralized. It's over, right? Not the game, but whatever he's trying to do with these two pieces is done. So he takes with the knight. We'll develop our queen. We have 3 pieces out. He has 1. So obviously not the best strategy by white. He is castled, which is nice for him, but it's not really a thing. I'm going to go a6 and say, okay, your only developed piece, what are you doing with it? Are you going to give it up? He says no. He goes that way. So I'm going to gain space for free. He has to go here. Now I could guarantee the bishop with a knight move and just take it, which makes a lot of sense. If you don't do that now, he might play c3 and escape with it later. On the other hand, you don't have to, and you can just solidify, which is what I'm going to do. He does play c3, giving his bishop some space. He's going to play d4 next, and everything makes sense. But he is a little late. Excuse me. I don't have to let this happen. I could push past. Could also just bring out my bishop. I don't really care about his light square bishop. I don't need to prove a point. I'm just going to develop and castle. I don't really care. He's wasted all this time. He hasn't moved anything. It's all playable though. You did have options. Yeah. But now we let him play d4. We let him kind of consolidate, but it's not a big deal. We're castled. We have a perfect position. And we can do whatever we want. So let's proceed in Caro-Kann fashion with the minority attack. But first he develops a piece, attacks our knight, which threatens to ruin our pawn structure. Maybe we don't want that. So let's remove the knight and prove it for free. Now his bishop makes another move. That's fine for us. This knight would look nice in here. If we hit the bishop, bishop goes back. If we jump in here, I mean it's all fine. But we also just want to break down the minority attack. So if we go here and he pushes past, that's interesting. Let's just go a5. Both these pawns, they both need to advance at some point in some order. Okay, he moves his knight, which threatens our knight. f5 is interesting because it also threatens f4 in some lines, trapping his bishop. But we could also just take the knight. He'll take with the queen maybe. And we can hit the bishop. Bishop goes back. Then we can go b4. Yeah, let's do that. Let's get rid of a set of minor pieces, and then let's attack. And then we keep attacking, minority attack. Just get these pawns up the board so that something has to happen on the B and C files where we'll put our rooks. So he ignores us, and spends an entire move doing this, which I'm not sure why you need a whole move to do that. But now we get to create the weakness we've been trying to create with the minority attack, and that's his backward C pawn. We don't want him to push it and get rid of the weakness, so it would make sense to move this knight out of the way, control the square, and then maybe even occupy the square. We also would want a rook on the C file and or B file, and let's try to play it like this, and we'll just keep this all intact. Okay, so he kind of covers this square, so we should cover it one more time. Which rook though? Probably this one. That way the other one can stay flexible. Okay, now he's threatening maybe to push, but we're just in time to get our knight there. If he takes, we get our rook there. Almost just solidifying a much easier endgame. But if he doesn't take, a knight here is also very effective as it's a blockader. But with the rook here, that protects the light square and gives us the doubling. You know, we definitely have the easier game. Our bishop is better than his bishop. So he tries to trade, which makes sense, I guess. Could take and double. If we try to avoid it, and let's just say he moves. I mean, let's just trade. We have the better endgame. He takes, but now we just double. We could double or infiltrate. I feel like doubling. The only way to defend is to bring the queen back. But then what if I triple? He can't even defend, right? I don't know. Let's double. Okay, he does bring the queen back, but what if I triple now? I guess I'll go to a dark square because it has more visibility. And how does he defend this pawn? And this is the whole point of the minority attack. It's a very long-winded way of trying to win a pawn. Okay, he goes back, but now we can definitely ruin his pawn structure and win material, and that should be the game. The alternative is to take the pawn first, which is also fine, but this one is even more winning, so let's do this one. This ruins his structure, creates a tons of targets all over the place, isolated. He only has isolated pawns, and he's down a pawn. He does have this move to get activity for free because of the back rank threat. So there's that, but after we get rid of that threat, he's just going to have to go pawn hunting. Is this a move? Takes, king, 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 king. It might be, but I don't really feel like looking further than that. Okay, let's just throw it in. I mean, who cares? He goes here. That's weird, though, because it loses the game. Yeah. It was a good game up until that, basically. Very logical. So we get a Caro-Kann on the board. Happens to be the Hillbilly Attack. You should not be playing bishop c4 against this opening. It should be against e5 openings because the diagonal's clear. And we have a bunch of zeros, a 96% game, 1 in accuracy. So pretty good game by us. Center, development, force move, development, center, development and center, development and center by unpinning the knight, force move, development and center. And as mentioned, even though it's basically an equal game. Black a tiny bit better. I mean, black has two knights out, pawn in the center. So yeah, even though it's equal, why wouldn't you rather be black here? Improving move for free because it hits the bishop, clarifies the situation, gaining space for free. Now I'm curious. Yeah, the computer says it's an option, but it even says e6 is best. Although I'm sure they're all the same basically. So you can do whatever you want. I just went for the solid option of center and development. And I'm curious about if yeah, it is the move here. So I had a feeling d4 was the best or one equal. You know, it's equal with a bunch of other stuff. For example, it's equal with the other move I played, but it's important to really look at moves like this because then he can't play d4, which is how he consolidates. And you can also, after he takes the knight here, hunt the bishop. But we do center and development. King safety and development. Forced move because you don't want him to ruin your structure and you're improving a piece for free. And then we just start the minority attack. There's probably other moves to start it. For example, the rook's over, right? That's possible. I mentioned knight a5. That's possible. But we just went with something simple. Push all the pawns. And then here, I do want to just push all the pawns, but I don't want to give him the option of taking and messing up our structure. So we just remove any liabilities. And then we continue with our plan. Gain space for free. And this is just gaining space, minority attack. Take free stuff because what's free about this is that, again, even though it's an equal position, because he has this backward C pawn, it's much easier to play for us. If someone's going to win, it's probably going to be black. Now we improve a piece and prophylaxis. We don't want him to push. Again, develop, improve, and prophylaxis. Now we improve a piece and prophylaxis because we don't want him pushing. We want to maintain his weakness. Force move. Force move. And now the computer says black is minus 0.8. So not even a full pawn better. It's just a weakness that black can try to win one day. So we get our last piece in the game for free. And he cannot defend it the way he did. They want him to move his rook there so that if I take the pawn, he has back rank stuff. And if we block this way, queens are still on the board, so even if I'm up a pawn, it's extremely drawish. But the way he did it, he tried to defend with the queen. We find the best plan, which is to triple up, improve for free. And now his best move is still this, going for back rank tricks. So here, if he goes for back rank tricks, you have to make space for your king. But then he does this, which is obviously losing because you just take it and then take the pawn with a completely winning endgame. So he played very well up until kind of here. He didn't know what to do. He saw he couldn't defend this pawn. So he panicked and then made a move that makes absolutely no sense. I don't even know what the idea behind it is. There's no trick here. But we take free stuff and his position is ruined because of all these. A lot of you would still mess this up. Believe it or not. I've done it. I've messed it up too. Because, I mean, forgetting the back rank, let's say you make space one way or another. You'll end up losing this pawn. Maybe he'll promote, or maybe he'll end up taking too many of your pawns with his rook, and it's a draw. But you can see all of his pawns are weak, and you have a very sturdy pawn chain. So as long as you can defend this f7 pawn, the rest shouldn't fall, and that gives you kind of a free hand. The only thing he can try to hunt is this a pawn, which whatever. Maybe he'll get it, maybe he won't. Depends on the circumstances. You don't really care. But here I'm like, might as well. You can defend it this way, but then your rook's kind of stuck to defense. So I just push the pawn, and I don't even really care if he wins it per se, but might as well because I have all the time to do it. And then when he goes here, of course, that just loses. So that's that. A game in the Caro-Kann against a 1435. Also a disciple of Jesus. Good luck in your chess. I'll see you in the next video.